Coming up on KOTA Territory News at 5:30, a major outage strikes state government computer systems. Plus, Representative Dusty Johnson offers his take on the current situation with the Epstein files. And South Dakota state politicians weigh in on the state of trade with China. Your news starts now.
From Skyline Drive, this is KOTA Territory News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Jack Cottle. Senate Majority Leader John Thune has weighed in on a potential U.S.-China trade deal as harvest approaches for soybean farmers. KOTA Territory's Blake Trolley reports the deal could mean a lot of money for local farmers.
Harvest is about 1 month out for soybean farmers in South Dakota, and with about 60% of the state's soybeans historically going to China, soybean farmers have had their eyes on the yet-to-be-announced deal. Senate Majority Leader John Thune weighed in on a potential deal earlier this week.
How confident are you that President Trump's going to be able to secure a deal with China in time for that soybean harvest? We're told, we're kind of heading into the fall, right, and this is a critical time for them.
Right, and I think I would hope at least that, and I think the administration needs to show forward progress on trade. The Biden administration didn't strike a single trade deal entire time he was in office. And, give this president credit. Yes, he uses tariffs in a way that maybe not all of us fully support at different times, but I think you got to give him an opportunity. He campaigned on it, and they're starting to pull some deals in.
Thune says ag is a key sector to increase American exports to certain countries with lopsided trade agreements. He's been urging the Trump administration to keep ag front and center on trade deals. As for President Trump's recent social media post calling on China to quadruple its soybean purchases from the U.S.
I think I'm glad that it's on his radar screen that he's making those types of insisting that be part of it, because I do think that there is a huge upside for us there still. I do think that any deal he strikes with China they're going to have stipulations in there that things that we're going to want, and I'm glad that he's putting agriculture front and center. So I hope that continues, and I hope that we see some evidence that they're making headway.
Thune expressed support for using tariffs to even up trade agreements between the U.S. and other countries. The South Dakota Soybean Association says it wants to see progress on trade talks between the U.S. and China. The two countries recently re-extended a tariff truce by 90 days as a previous extension was set to expire. In Rapid City, Blake Trolley, KOTA Territory News.
It's yet another hot day in KOTA Territory. How soon until the temperatures cool off? Chief Meteorologist David Stradling is here to let us know. I think a lot of us would like a little break right now.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's been hot the past few days, and it looks hot outside. A lot of sunshine, but thankfully the cool air will be moving in very, very soon. It's still warm tomorrow, but it's not as hot as what we have right now. And then by Friday and the weekend is where temperatures will feel much more comfortable. Right now we have temperatures 100 in Buffalo, out of the Rapid City Airport, and down towards Hot Springs. It is 102 in Phillip, 89 in Custer. Our wind speeds are still strong out of the southeast, anywhere from 10 to 25 miles per hour with gusts higher than that. The breeze has been providing a little bit of relief, but it's still hot nonetheless. We won't be getting any relief from the warmth overnight tonight, only falling down to 71. If we don't fall into the 60s, this could be the warmest night so far this year. And our temperatures for tomorrow, while still warm, not as hot, 87 degrees with some afternoon storms. I'll talk more about that coming up.
Thank you, David. Representative Dusty Johnson has expressed his support for releasing files related to the case on Jeffrey Epstein. The comments were made as KOTA Territory News questioned Johnson about the DOJ's expected turning over of Epstein case files to members of the House. Johnson said yesterday officials should release every part of the files they legally can.
Of course, in our country for 250 years, we've tried to protect the innocent. There are things like grand jury testimony we don't normally release. So, of course, we want to honor the law. We want to honor past practice. But to the greatest extent possible, we need to make public those Epstein files.
Representative James Comer, who chairs the House Oversight Committee, announced earlier this week that the Department of Justice will begin turning over Epstein-related files to the committee on Friday. Comer issued a subpoena to the DOJ for the files on August 5th. The preliminary NTSB report is out on the fatal plane crash that happened last month near New Underwood. The report says the plane, a Piper PA-22-150, took off from the Cower Private Airport in Box Elder for a local area flight and crashed a little after 6 in the morning on July 28th. The NTSB said the plane hit a power line along the edge of a pasture about 5 miles southeast of where it took off, coming to rest upside down about 650 feet from the power line, saying portions of the power line were entangled with the plane. The preliminary investigation didn't find any problems with the airframe or the engine that would have caused the plane to crash. The crash killed the passenger, 35-year-old Martin Nunez of Box Elder, and seriously injured the pilot, 47-year-old Isaac Mousom of Box Elder. A statewide technical problem has been disrupting several important services here in Pennington County and across the state that rely on South Dakota State Network access. But this afternoon, the state announced that the Bureau of Information and Technology had successfully restored the primary power system, restoring some services. The Treasurer's office was facing limited access to motor vehicle transactions because of issues with the state's servers, meaning some motor vehicle services were delayed or temporarily unavailable, and self-service terminals across the state were offline. The Treasurer's online sign-in system was shut down so staff could guide customers in person through any complications caused by the outage.
The state has it as a priority because they have multiple businesses that are on that server throughout the whole state of South Dakota, so it is a major deal. In our office, it affects the registration printers, though. So we want to physically be talking to the individual and let them know what it is. They can make a choice when they get there, whether or not they want to stay.
The state said the Bureau of Information and Technology is working to bring all remaining systems back online. Pennington County administration offices will soon operate under new hours, giving you more options to get help. It took 11 internal listening sessions and more than 260 public survey responses to get here. The county admin building will shift office hours from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, but only after departments move to the new location at 900 Concourse Drive. The current schedule is Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. The new 5-day week was approved by commissioners last month, though exact hours weren't finalized until yesterday.
Some of the ones that really stood out to us were, of course, the Fridays. People wanted the Fridays the most. But then on top of that, people really enjoyed the early times and late times that they could get in. But we saw significantly that people wanted that before work as well. So that's why we ended up going with a 7 to 4 p.m. Hours of operation for the new administration building.
The Register of Deeds and Commission Office will move on Monday, November 3rd. The Treasurer's Office, Planning and Zoning and Auditor's Office will follow on November 10th. Equalization makes the move on November 13th. Wiseman says all services will remain fully operational throughout the transition with no interruption in service. The Central States Fair has been entertaining families for years with Carnival Americana, concerts, and demo derbies. This year's fair, people for the first time were given a taste of the YO Rope Horse Futurity. The competition includes semi-professional and professional ropers who bring their young horses to showcase them in team roping. Participants were seen flying out of the gates, trying to wrangle up calves as fast as they can. Ropers compete for large cash prizes ranging from $7,000 for first place and $2,000 for fourth. A competitor's horse is judged by its ability in executing a calm, clean, and consistent run during roping. It's also judged by its ability to handle pressure and being able to adjust its speed during a run. A 27-year-old participant has been roping since he was 3 and loves competing in the YO.
It was good to me today, so that really puts a cherry on the top too, but they run a great operation here and a lot of money gets paid out, so you can't beat that.
The YO Rope Horse Futurity will conclude this evening. Well, a very hot week continues in KOTA territory. We'll let you know if Thursday and Friday will be more of the same, and your accurate first alert forecast coming up later. But first, with some local schools lacking air conditioning, school staff had to get innovative to keep students comfortable. That story's up next. School is anything but cool this week as local students struggle to deal with hot classrooms. Many Rapid City area schools' campuses don't have air conditioning, including South Park Elementary. Our Brian Savage shows us how its principal came up with a unique way to keep kids comfortable.
Since it first opened its doors 75 years ago, South Park Elementary School has never had an air conditioning system.
It's an old school. We love it, but just doesn't have all the amenities as the newer schools.
Due to a lack of air conditioning, Youngworth says he can tell by the afternoon students look really lethargic. To help, the kids are given a lot of water or taken to the coolest place the staff can find, and lights are minimized.
We do have air conditioning in our gym, so sometimes we just go there to take a break.
To help overcome the lack of ventilation, Youngworth came up with an idea 7 years ago when he was at the Central States Fair.
We had a plumber in the district who's now retired. His name's Greg. And I'm like, Greg, will you help us build something that will just kind of shoot mist out so the kids could get cooled off?
Greg went on to create a sprinkler-type mist device that helps kids cool off and have fun at the same time.
He actually came back a few days later and he said, here, check this out. And it worked perfectly. I thought it was pretty creative.
Even with the mist device serving as a temporary way to get cool, one South Park teacher says it's hard for her students to concentrate during class due to the minimal ventilation.
Their physical needs of feeling comfortable haven't been met, so then it kind of takes away from learning.
Smithley says to beat the heat, classrooms at South Park Elementary have portable AC units, as you can see behind me, but says even that isn't enough.
They're just not great at all. I mean, the kids are sweating profusely.
Youngworth says they may be getting an HVAC upgrade.
We just wait our turn and do the best we can, and one day we will have it. Maybe one day we'll even have an addition, or maybe a brand new school. Who knows?
In Rapid City, Brian Savage, KOTA Territory News.
Due to excessive heat today, South Park Elementary and some other Rapid City schools were given an early dismissal. Chief Meteorologist David Stradling is tracking storm chances. Find out when they'll impact KOTA Territory in your accurate First Alert forecast next.
Now, the First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist David Stradling.
Hot and sunny today. This is the view outside on our Golden West Tower camera overlooking Rapid City off towards the northeast. Blue skies. Temperatures are in the 90s for many spots. 91 in Hewlett. Ekalaka at 99 and 100 at the Rapid City Airport and for Hot Springs. Also up into Buffalo, 102 over towards Phillip. Now in downtown Rapid City, we are 97, 91 Nemo, 92 in Lead, 97 for Belfouche, Beulah, and Newcastle. It's very hot no matter where you are in KOTA Territory at this time. We do have heat advisories in place until 7 p.m. across western South Dakota and until 9 p.m. for Carter County, much of southeastern Montana, and Sheridan County. So yeah, it's been very hot today with the added humidity. Those heat index values are creating some issues for some spots. Not much relief from the heat overnight tonight, only falling down to 71 degrees now. That'll be the first time we may stay in the 70s for a daily temperature, for an overnight low temperature at least. In Rapid City, so far this season, the warmest overnight temperatures have been around 69 degrees, and that's happened a couple of times over the past few months, but we're forecasting a low of 71, so very warm. Tomorrow, 87, still warm, but not as hot. Storms developing throughout the afternoon hours. We will notice clouds passing through overnight tonight and into the morning time frame, and we'll continue to maybe have a light shower or two from those clouds along that front, and then some storms firing up into Wyoming through the afternoon, moving into western South Dakota Thursday evening. Isolated storms continue Thursday night and into the day on Friday, but those storms should start to dissipate closer towards dinner time Friday and into the evening hours. To close out the week, we'll notice a much cooler system passing through. High temperatures in the 70s for many, a few near the 80s out towards central South Dakota, and for the weekend it's going to be pretty comfortable too. Our high temperatures Saturday and Sunday will both be in the mid 70s with a lot of sunshine, so some beautiful weather's on tap as we make our way to the weekend. We will have clouds moving in late with that front approaching, but no relief from the heat. We're having lows in the 60s to 70s. As for tomorrow, highs will be climbing up into the 80s for many, some 90s still from Hot Springs to Pine Ridge into Phillip and Kadoka, so it's still going to be quite warm on some spots on the South Dakota plains. Now for northeast Wyoming, Sheridan, Gillette, Sundance, Newcastle, you'll notice those temperatures falling each day with maybe some 60s towards Sundance by Sunday. A couple of storm chances late tomorrow night and into Friday. Similar weather across the Black Hills region from Spearfish to Deadwood into Custer and Hot Hot Springs. You'll notice those temperatures falling each day, with some parts of the Black Hills likely staying in the upper 60s to begin the weekend. And on the South Dakota Plains, temperatures will feel a little bit cooler, but not quite the 60s like the Black Hills. We'll be staying in the 70s as we make our way into Saturday, but afternoon storms will be possible late Thursday and into Friday, especially from Phillip down towards Pine Ridge. Rapid City could see the same with those storms late Thursday night and into Friday. High temperatures this weekend in the 70s. That'll continue into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, so we'll stay below average. After tomorrow, getting up to 87. Low temperatures will be falling into the 50s, so it'll feel much more comfortable waking up in the morning hours compared to these 60s and 70s we've been getting.
That is 6 straight days of highs of 70s and lows in the 50s up there.
It's going to be a nice break from this heat. I don't think many people will be too upset.
All right, open those windows at night. All right, thank you, David. Coming up, we'll let you know how things are going out at the Range Days Rodeo. Plus, we check in with the St. Thomas More football team as the Cavs get ready to kick things off against Sioux Valley. Vic Quick has all the details next in KOTA Sports.
Good evening, everybody. The Spearfish Sasquatch will have a new head coach next season, as the team announced today. Justice Scott has decided to step down from the job. Scott spent the past 2 summers guiding the Sasquatch, racking up an impressive 65-37 record. This season, Scott led the team to its first ever league championship. The South Dakota high school football season kicks off Friday night for 11B and 9-man teams, who will have a huge showdown right out of the gate as the 4th-ranked team in 11B, St. Thomas More, hosts 2nd-ranked Sioux Valley. The Cavaliers finished last season with an 8-3 record. They caught fire down the home stretch, making it all the way to the state semifinals. The Cossacks made it all the way to the Dome last year, dropping the championship game to winner. And 3rd-year STM head coach Austin Hagan knows this will be a great test for his guys.
We bring back some really good receivers from last year, but then 2 very good running backs as well. With quarterback that we have, going to be a sophomore, threw for almost 2,000 yards last year. The game's really slowed down for him. He's able to make his reads a lot quicker. So I think just having a balance of, equal run, equal pass, that type of thing. Very explosive, very talented, skilled, big, well-coached team from East River. Sioux Valley's been a phenomenal program for years now. Dan Hughes did a wonderful job doing that. I know they have a new head coach, but the standard there is not going to change. I know that, and expect a very good Sioux Valley team to be coming out here.
Should be fun Friday night. One note on that game, it kicks off at 5 o'clock Friday over at the St. Thomas More High School. 4th-ranked STM, 2nd-ranked Sioux Valley. Now, after finishing last season with a 5-4 record and qualifying for the state playoffs, the Limit McIntosh football team is focused on delivering a big season. The Cowboys crank things up Friday night when they host North Central. Kickoff is at 6 o'clock in Limit. After finishing last season with a 6-4 record, the Spearfish football team is focused on accomplishing more big feats this season. The Spartans kick things off a week from Friday when they travel to T. Spearfish did lose some key players to graduation off of last year's playoff team, but head coach Tom Teason still has a strong core group to work with. The Spartans play their home opener September 5th when they match up with Rapid City Central. Spearfish also has home games with Mitchell, Aberdeen Central, Watertown, and Pierre. The Range Days Rodeo rolls on from the Central States Fair with the final PRCA performance tonight. Let's take a look at your leaders. California's Jasik Frost is first in bareback with an 85.5. Emmett Edler and Riley Rice are tied for first in steer wrestling with a time of 4.1 seconds. Devin McDaniel and Chris Young are first in team roping. New Mexico's Ross Griffin leads saddle bronc with an 84.5. Texas's Joel Harris leads tie-down roping with a time of 9.3 seconds. Katie Rossal from North Dakota is out in front of barrel racing. And Woonsocket's Tanner Christian leads a bull riding with an 81 on heating up. South Dakota bull rider representing very nicely. All right, final rodeo performance tonight. It starts at 7 o'clock over at the fairgrounds, and I'll have the highlights for you back here tonight at 9 and 10 o'clock. And of course, high school football, as we mentioned, kicks off this Friday night for 11B and 9-man teams. It should be fun, and we'll have the season's first edition of the Friday Night Hike for you coming up Friday night at 9 and 10 o'clock. All right, that's going to do it for sports. We'll be right back after this short timeout.
All right, David, one more hot-ish kind of day before it cools down.
Yeah, the rest of today's hot. Tomorrow's warm. We'll be in the upper 80s, but I think some cloud cover from a front advancing through will keep those temperatures from reaching 90 in Rapid City. There are a few showers and thunder showers in northeast Wyoming and southeastern Montana that could be moving into northwest South Dakota, and those temperatures are a little more comfortable on that map with a lot of 70s.
That's exciting coming up.
It is. It's going to feel good.
All right, that'll do it for us.
Thanks for watching KOTA Territory News, your local news and weather authority.